Survivor Series 2024, and it kicks off with War Games. Ripley is back for revenge on Rodriguez and Morgan, but she has to wait because the match starts with Candice LeRae and Naomi, and Candice takes it to Naomi early because she has the more ruthless edge right now. And the pain for Naomi doesn't stop because LeRae's team has won the advantage on SmackDown, and it's Tiffy time. And together they dominate Naomi even more. She desperately needs help, and it then arrives in the form of Io Sky. And she immediately takes a massive risk and takes to the sky, climbing the cage, leaping off and taking out LeRae and Stratton. But the good times are very quickly snuffed out when Raquel Rodriguez enters next and skews the numbers again. And she brings even more weapons and chaos into the fray. And as everyone begins to enter the match, the violence only ramps up, the risks only ramp up, and the match reaches its fever pitch. Especially with Raquel and Liv enjoying the outnumber. They're loving life. The party is over once Rhea Ripley enters. And she comes in and smashes her way through as many as she can until she gets to Liv Morgan. And Liv backs up. She's terrified of being locked in there with Mommy. And she starts to climb to try and get away from her. And Rhea wants to chase her, of course, but she's stopped in her tracks by Raquel, and now they're duking it out. But Rhea is determined, and she uses her mask to headbutt Raquel, and now that she's down, she can go after Liv. And it's incredibly precarious at the top. The whole match hinges on this. But Rhea wins the trade and throws Liv off the top of the cage. She crashes and burns through most of the field, wiping almost everyone out. Except for Nia Jax, who is still left standing, and she goes up, grabs Rhea, yanks her down off the top of the cage, and puts her through a table that was previously set up. And now Jax can put her away and win it for her team. She drags her to the corner, and she's going to hit the Annihilator. But Rhea somehow rolls out of the way and rolls someone in the way. Rhea outsmarts Nia and cracks her with a chair. She throws her into the other ring and then picks up Tiffany Stratton and lands a riptide to pick up the War Games victory. It pours fuel on the fire for Tiffany and Nia, and it also adds to the tension between Rhea and Liv. However, there is no tension quite like what's felt backstage as Seth Rollins' eye is caught by none other than Bronson Reed. And immediately they come together, but very quickly security has to separate them. And Bronson just laughs in his face and says, "You know where to find me, Seth. I'll be in that cage for War Games. Come and get it. I dare you. I dare you to be the fifth man." Bronson knows that the OG Bloodline still need their final member. But would Rollins actually swallow his pride and be the fifth man? Just to get at Bronson. Well, time is running out for him to make that decision, because as the show rolls on, we see the Intercontinental Championship defended in a chaotic triple threat match. It's Sheamus looking to become a Grand Slam champion, and it's Ludwig Kaiser looking to stand on his own 2 feet as per the Ring General's orders. And of course, Bron Breakker wanting to hold onto the title for longer than last time. And in true Sheamus style, this is a banger. And the chemistry between all of them is off the charts. They all take risks. All three lay it all on the line. But it's this newfound aggression in Ludwig Kaiser that really changes the dynamic of the match. And he wrenches Sheamus out of the ring after he's hit Breakker with white noise and hammers him off the ring steps. He's going to line him up like he has many others for the devastating drop kick into the steel. There's nowhere for Sheamus to go, but he doesn't have to, because as Kaiser takes off, Breakker jumps from inside the ring to out and spears him. Breakker, though, before he can even pick Kaiser up to capitalize, gets flung into the ring himself by Sheamus. Sheamus looks for a brogue, but Bron ducks underneath. And it's curtains, and Sheamus gets blasted by a spear and pinned. And Bron Breakker retains the Intercontinental Championship. It's a phenomenal showing again from the undisputed future of the company. But once again, the future of the OG Bloodline is brought into focus when we see Roman Reigns arrive at the building ahead of Bloodline Civil War Games, with the question still being asked, who will be the fifth man, if anyone at all? But one man we know it absolutely won't be is Cody Rhodes, who was wiped out on SmackDown by Kevin Owens and isn't cleared to be in the building, but still has a message for his attacker. Kevin, you've done something very few have managed to do. You've gotten under my skin. You've made this about as personal as it gets because you took out Randy, a man I've idolized, a man I tried to build my career around. You dropped him on his head like the coward that you are. You tried to do the same to me. But let me tell you this, I don't have neck problems. And I'm not cleared tonight, but I will be by Saturday night's main event on December 20th. And you're a prize fighter, right? Well, I've got one hell of a prize. So let's fight. Cody, on this night of all nights, declares war. It's now time for a traditional Survivor Series elimination match between the Wyatts and Final Testament, who is joined by The Miz. And this is wild and completely out of control. It's hard to keep track of what is even going on or who is even legal, but the referee has to do their best. And as the match moves on, we do see some eliminations. We see Joe Gacy put his body on the line, but it backfires. We see Akam take his eyes off the prize for a moment and get choked down by Dexter Lumis. And we also see Nikki Cross wreak havoc and cost Razor his own place in the match by taking his eyes away from Howdy by force. However, Lumis can't hold up against the sheer brute force of Karrion Kross. But Kross ultimately succumbs to a monster double team from Uncle Howdy and Eric Rowan. But while Howdy is making sure Kross is out of the ring, it's The Miz who has been practically hiding the entire match, dropping Rowan with a skull-crushing finale onto the chair to eliminate him. But it leaves Miz in an equally dangerous situation. We're running out of time. Roman, have you heard from Paul yet? Do we even know if Seth is in? He's here. I saw him earlier. He wants to fight Bronson Reed. Why don't we just get him in? Sammy, I haven't heard anything. We don't have anyone. Seth hates us. Seth hates me. And hell, so he should. I'm not particularly fond of him either. It's just the four of us. Yeah. And that's all we need, Oos. We've run this place before, and we can do it again. Time is running out for the Bloodline, because War Games is up next after the World Heavyweight Championship showdown where Gunther defends against Damian Priest in what has almost become a battle of the minds. Priest is in Gunther's head. We've seen so much doubt from the Ring General, and it's shown most when Gunther is continuously countered by Priest during the match because Priest knows him so well. And it really feels like Gunther has been found out and exposed. And Priest reverses a powerbomb into a South of Heaven, but Gunther kicks out at the tightest of 2.9s. Gunther barely stays in it, and now the desperation creeps in. He grabs the referee and pulls him in front of Damian Priest, and the referee is down. And Gunther goes to a place he's rarely been. He cheats. He pulls the turnbuckle pad off and slams Damien's throat into it. It's disgraceful. And as the referee recovers, all he sees is Damien in a rear naked choke, unconscious. He calls for the bell and Gunther escapes, but not in the usual way. Is the armor starting to weaken? Well, there's one man who wants to find out. Gunther, you're next. Goldberg calls his shot and not only weakens Gunther's armor, he shatters it. And it seems as though Goldberg's retirement match might have been declared. But another armor that has been weakened is the OG Bloodline as we head to Civil War Games. And they are seemingly going to be a man down. But they fight on anyway. They don't have a choice. And to heap on the pain, the Rogue Bloodline has won the advantage. So they're outnumbered for basically the entire match. But the OG Bloodline hang in there. They fight with everything they've got. They throw quite literally everything at them. And it's as vicious of a war as you would expect in this setting. However, as the timer counts down for the final entrant, the cage sits empty. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Paul Heyman. And as the wise man for my tribal chief, Roman Reigns, I introduce to you the fifth man. CM Punk, from one cage to another. He's there for Paul Heyman and he joins the team. All while a somewhat envious and annoyed Seth Rollins watches on. Perhaps he was going to take the spot, but he's been trumped by Punk again. But there's no time to worry about what that means, because Punk hits the match and he's on fire. And on his own, neutralizes both Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa with a GTS each. Jimmy and Jay work together to topple Jacob Fatu, and Sammy lays it all on the line trying to take out Bronson Reed, leaving Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa on their own on the other side. And Solo grabs him by the throat, looking for the Samoan spike, but Roman manages to reverse it, take off, and hit a spear on Solo. But Solo is still stirring, and Roman Reigns knows he needs another, and he goes to the corner. The great CM Punk, brought in by the wise man, could prove the difference. He came to help the OG Bloodline, and more importantly Paul Heyman, but instead it's the Rogue Bloodline, assembled on the entrance as the winners. And as Roman Reigns lays there hurting, the pain may have only just begun, because now he has to deal with the final boss, or as he now refers to himself, the High Chief.